Okay, so this last video, this is probably going to be the last time I'm talking about tabletop RPG stuff, specifically for a little bit. I want to go off on other subjects, but this gave me a lot to work with and a lot to not have to think, and bought me some time to actually think about other projects that I'd like to come up with for this. I see a lot of people handle, and this is specifically in dice rolling, this isn't even in the manifesto, this is just my own personal role for something to address. I see people handle the dice rolling as the end all be all. I see people say, I got a natural 20, I should be able to succeed, regardless of what makes sense. Oh, they got a natural 1, they automatically fail, regardless of what makes sense. Baldur's Gate 3 did it. And Baldur's Gate 3 is a fantastic game, don't get me wrong, but I would have actually handled the dice rolling system slightly differently. Because in at least Pathfinder, and I believe at least 3.5 D&D, and I think even 5th edition D&D, nowhere in the written rules does it actually say a natural 20 is an automatic success on skill checks. It does say that a natural 20, and it also does not say the same for natural 1s, where they are a automatic failure on skill checks. They are a automatic failure or automatic success for the natural 1 and the natural 20, respectively, in combat rolls and saves, regardless of how good your numbers are. So if you couldn't possibly hit this creature with the added sum of the d20 and your number of your attack modifier, you can still hit on a natural 20 because it is a critical hit, or at least a critical threat, and then if you confirm it's a critical hit. And then a natural 1, regardless of, if it's got an AC of 12 and you've got a combat, an attack roll modifier of, 11, and you roll a 1, technically you would be hitting with that combined number, but you automatically fail. There's a 20%, not 20%, a 5% chance at all times of either absolutely failing it or absolutely nailing it in combat. And that makes sense because combat is messy. If anyone who's ever done any actual combat sports, fencing, HEMA, martial arts, knows that sometimes, regardless of how perfectly you did your thing, they just got lucky and did better. You got unlucky and absolutely flubbed, and like your foot slipped on the ground, and they were able to capitalize on that. Those kinds of things. But I personally disagree with the idea that people will say, oh, you rolled in that 1, even though your rogue has a plus 20 on their disabled device, and the DC on this lock, it's a very simple lock. They should have been able to succeed without even a dice roll. Hell, I'll even just say, yeah, if this character is the one who's doing it, because I know their stat build, I know what their numbers are, and I know what they can roll at minimum, they automatically succeed. I won't even ask for a dice roll on stuff. And I would encourage GMs to use that a lot more. It speeds up play. It makes things a lot more fun. And when you have a ringer of like, this is the person who always has the knowledge skills. This is the person who always gets us out of a locked room. This is the person who can always lift that heavy thing. This is the person who can always charm an individual who isn't really friendly to us at the moment. They should be able to succeed if their numbers plus whatever was rolled on the die says so. But it doesn't make sense for the person who is clumsy as hell to be able to succeed in disarming that lock that's incredibly complicated if even your skilled rogue could not do it, simply because they rolled a 20. So I think placing less power in the dice and placing more power in the build that the character gave you, or that the player gave the character, I should say, is the greater importance, because then you are actually taking the character and making them have importance in the world. Start tuning your DCs based off of, I only want this person to be the likely person to be able to succeed in it because they've put so much time and effort into figuring out how to make the build work really well in this one really like specific case set. Don't be afraid to make it so that certain players will never succeed in something, even if they roll a nat 20. But also don't be afraid to make it so that the players or the party cannot fail if they roll a nat 1 in something. Allow them to feel clever for having taken that build, because that is a part of what a lot of people focus on in this, is like, I really want my character to be really good at this thing. And if they just keep rolling horribly, it's on you at the GM at that point, that they won't be having fun with that character and they want to make something else that starts doing well, because I'm going to go imitate my friend's build so that at least in all the stuff that they're succeeding in, I know I'll be able to succeed in, because we've already got an exact proof of it with them. So yeah, don't let the nat 1 or the nat 20 be the end all be all for whether or not a player succeeds or fails in certain things. It is fine to allow it to be in certain cases. Again, I think in combat and in saves, it is very fair, because things can always happen. And as long as you're clever with it, you can still make it interesting. But don't punish a player just because the dice decided to say no, even if by all rights they should have been able to succeed. So keep that in mind. Be excellent to each other. Be excellent to yourselves. And I will see you at the next one.